Lorna for the latest.
A Sky News poll has revealed widespread public support for many of the BNP's policies. In a survey of 1,800 people by the pollsters YouGov, many voters said they would vote for BNP policies, with a small drop in support when the BNP was actually mentioned by name. The findings will prove worrying for all the main parties in the run-up to the key local elections in just 9 days' time.
It's a doorstep response. The British National Party claims it's hearing more and more often.
Is it a party you consider voting for?
The local elections are next week and the far-right party is busy, targeting traditional working-class neighbourhoods where immigrants are blamed for social and economic deprivation. This is what drives the BNP vote.
Large immigrant communities who get, not necessarily because they've asked for it, but because the way it's our Liberal politicians work, these communities get an unfair amount of the resources thrown at them, and that's caused resentment in white working class communities nearby.
Because Tony Blair doesn't care about white votes, he cares about Asian votes.
The BNP has shed its skinhead and jackboot image. It claims it offers a mainstream political alternative. And it seems there may be some wider support for what it stands for. The results of a Sky News YouGov poll found majority backing for 5 key BNP policies: tougher jail sentences, halting immigration, stopping immigrant families coming into the UK, fewer asylum seekers, priority housing for British families. When respondents were told the policies were those of the BNP, support fell from 55% to 49%, a mere 6% drop, evidence of wider political acceptance than ever before. But not everyone is convinced the BNP has changed.
Criminality is rife from top to bottom in the organisation, and that is sustainable by the facts. They're racist, they're divisive, they're anti-Semites. When it suits them, they will knock any minority group.
But despite fears from anti-fascist groups, the BNP is predicted to make gains in council elections in some parts of the country. The BNP has said it's putting up more candidates than ever before, 356 for these local elections. At present, it has 15 councillors across England and hopes to win up to 40 seats on May the 4th.
There are particular areas where groups of people perhaps feel under threat, where it will be an issue, but it will not be an issue right across Britain.
The results of the Sky News YouGov poll show strong support for some key BNP policies. Mainstream parties will have to tackle those issues or risk losing more votes to the far right. Neil Patterson, Sky News.
Well, joining us now live is the BNP leader, Nick Griffin. Morning, Mr. Griffin. The research demonstrates people saying they like your policies but don't like the thought of voting BNP. What's wrong with your image?
It doesn't really demonstrate that, does it? There's a 6% drop, but still, even when the party label is there, half the population is saying that they think about voting British National Party. That's more than double the number voted for Tony Blair when he romped home at the last general election.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge that it does suggest that there is something with that BNP image that people have a problem with.
Yeah, it does. What people need to understand is that this image has been created by 20 years of the National Union of Journalists having their code of conduct saying that no journalist can report on the British National Party unless it's in a way that puts us in a negative light. That's 20 years of spin and lies and deceit, and obviously that takes a lot of getting over. But this poll shows we're getting over it.
You say reporting in a positive light. We all know there has been very many cases in recent years of journalists infiltrating your party, doing undercover reporting, and what people see being said by members of your party appear to be racist, and that's where the image problem comes from.
No, the report you're talking about was one done, 2 years ago. This was an infiltration of one local unit of ours, which had been taken over by people loyal to Jerry Gable, the man you showed a little while ago. The only time Jerry Gable ever stood in British politics was a communist candidate. A group of his people had captured one of our branches, and that didn't show the British National Party. It showed a caricature of what we're supposed to be according to our opponents.
So are you categorically saying then that no member of your party is racist?
No, unfortunately, there are a lot of racist people in British society. Some get involved with us. Once they get involved, we try and turn them around and at least make sure that they're doing positive things and blaming the politicians for the problems, not the immigrants who brought them here. That's at least a start. But obviously, any party has racists. If you put a secret camera in a Labour Party working man's club or a Conservative club, you get absolutely vicious negative racism of a sort that we wouldn't countenance from a lot of people there too.
I'm interested to know how you turn it around, as that's what you said, you turn them around. How do you do that?
Well, some people come to us absolutely appalled with what's been done to this country by the politicians, and quite simply full of hatred, including for ethnic minorities, say, living near to them, who've had an unfair crack of the whip, have had a lot more money spent on their areas than on white working class areas. And we say to these people, look, this is not the fault of the immigrants. The people to blame are the politicians who created this multiracial society without any democratic mandate from the British people, against our wishes. They're the people to blame. And if you want to change things, you've got to change the politicians and not blame ordinary, perfectly innocent immigrants.
Members of your party, as you do acknowledge, there may be people who are racist in your party. Do you throw them out? How harshly do you deal with them if they refuse to go along with what your policies are?
People obviously have to agree with the vast majority of the policies of any party to join it. Anyone who even talks about violence or anything like that, we throw out immediately. As regards people who have racist attitudes towards other peoples, really it depends on what the attitude is. If it's such that it's bitter, it's bigoted, it's stupid, then we try and push these people away. But a lot of people, especially youngsters, they come in thinking they join the British National Party because the media have created an image that we're racist, so they think they've got to be racist when they join us. Once they spend a bit of time with us, just a matter of weeks or a few months campaigning with our people, and they find that we don't hate people of ethnic minorities, it usually cures them of that hatred. So the only hatred that's left is, if there's any at all, the hatred we want to see is against the politicians who've made such a mess of our country without asking us and taxed us into the bargain.
OK, we'll let you say what you think then. Do you think black and Asian people, even if they are born in Britain, have a family history in Britain, are somehow less British than perhaps someone with an Anglo-Saxon background?
Now, in a civic sense, obviously they're British. They're entitled to the full protection of the law, to vote, to carry a British passport, to live here and work here and all the rest of it. But we're not politically correct, so we're not going to pretend that these people are English, Scots, Irish or Welsh any more than if I'd been born in Pakistan, I'd be a Pakistani. I'm not, I'm English, and that's all there is to it. So, yeah, they're British in a civic sense, but they're not the same as the native people of these islands. Our forefathers built this country, worked for this country, in many cases died for our country and our freedoms, and that gives our people first call on rights in this country. That's how we believe.
BNP leader Nick Griffin, thank you for joining us on Sky News. Thank you. Well, it's the subject of our News Active vote this morning. We're asking whether you think the BNP have a place in British politics. This is what you're saying so far. 85% of you agreeing with Nick Griffin and saying that the BNP do have a place in British politics. Well, let's talk now to a local government minister,